This is Bambi, my newest Mustang's first time being asked to trailer load. Right here, I am showing her the trailer, letting her check it out. I'm trying to apply a little bit of pressure to ask her to step forward so she can smell it. I'm going to back her up a little bit since that door was swinging and bring her right back up, and I'm going to step up and rub on her. Usually these Mustangs will get pretty freaked out when you first step up onto the trailer, and I wanted to make sure I broke it all down and showed her those steps before asking her to get in. Clearly, she loads right in. I usually have very short trailer loading sessions where I get them to walk straight in and then work on sending them into the trailer so they essentially self-load, which is what I'm going to do with Bambi today. Because by the time I get these Mustangs through my program and I kind of go through my checklist on the ground, the first time I go to load them into the trailer usually goes just like that. So to make it more difficult for them, make them engage more, I'm going to work on sending her into the trailer to show you guys how I break that process down. Because I'm always asked how I trailer load my Mustangs for the first time, and the truth to that is that I just walk them in, because by the time they've reached each checkpoint in my little program I have, loading them is no problem. So I'm going to walk her in one more time, normal. You know, she's pretty forward, she doesn't have to think twice about it. And you'll notice I'm turning her around in the trailer. If I were to start backing her up out of the trailer right away, it would kind of create a negative energy in the trailer for her. You know, backing out of a trailer is very unnatural and it's scary for these guys at first, so I'm giving her the chance to turn around and just get comfortable getting in and out of the trailer before I ask for something complicated like backing out of a trailer. Here she's struggling just a little bit getting out. She keeps getting her foot stuck on the mat. Luckily, she's not the type to freak out over that, so I'm just kind of giving and taking pressure to help guide her out of the trailer. And you can kind of see the gears go in her head as she figures it out. It's a little bit of a slow process, but she gets it. I haven't introduced positive reinforcement or clicker training to Bambi yet, so you'll notice that I'm just rubbing on her as a reward, but she's the type that she doesn't need too much, so I rub on her, tell her she's doing good, and then we just go right back to it. Now I'm going to work on starting to send her into the trailer. I wanted to rub her with the whip real quick to make sure she's okay with it, and I'm going to do a lot of giving and taking. I'm going to ask her to step forward off the whip pressure and release, because I can't just expect her to self-load right away. She needs to understand that that whip motion means to step forward, so I'm showing that to her there. And I walked into the trailer with her to combine the two to make it easier for her to understand and put the two together, because when I'm not in the trailer with her, it's a little bit confusing, and you'll see that later on. So me stepping into the trailer while asking her to step forward off the whip kind of helps her pick up what I'm asking. Getting out of the trailer here, she kind of drags her feet and has to hop out pretty funky. Luckily, she did not get too freaked out over that. You can see she struggled a little bit here. She wasn't fully understanding stepping into the whip pressure. Even though she was doing okay with that a couple seconds ago, now she's struggling with it, so I'm just going to give and take. As soon as I apply that pressure with the whip and she steps forward, I take it away so she learns that that's the right thing to do. And I'm putting a little bit of pressure on her halter to also guide her forward, so that way she can learn the easiest way possible, make it a nice easy process for her to pick up on what I'm asking. Here I decide to put a little bit more pressure on her halter and step forward just a bit to give her some more space, and then she right away picks it up. She pauses for a second, but then she hops right on in, so that was a pretty good load. I make sure I rub on her when she's in there after that. Here I'm working on sending her out of the trailer, and she was a little bit nervous at first. She kind of wasn't sure what to do, but then she got it, and yet again I made sure I rubbed on her. That's her reinforcement, and that's her reward for doing well. Walking up to the trailer, I made sure I held my whip up just to reinforce the forward movement that comes from the whip being up. She did good with that. Now this time when I'm loading her, I want to be able to ask her without too much pressure on her halter. You can see there's a little bit, but not too much, and when she sees that whip go up, she responds really well off of that, which is what I'm looking for. I'm looking to see the improvement and her picking up on what I'm asking, so she did really, really well with that. This was immediately after that last time I loaded her where she was really stuck, so I really like seeing that difference between that time loading and this time. Sending her out of the trailer again, she got a little bit stuck at first, but then she did well, and because she kind of hustled out of there, I made sure I disengaged her haunches and just rubbed on her for a second. Right there, I walked her up to the trailer real quick, and this is my first time asking her without getting in the trailer, and she picked it up right away, and I dropped my whip, and I wasn't going to put that in here, but I wanted to make sure I did share the first time I actually got her to self-load, and I wanted to make sure everything was in order, so I just decided to keep that in there, because she did the load really well, and I really like seeing how she all of a sudden picked up on the sending motion. So I wanted to load her up one more time to make sure she got 2 good load ups out of this session. And this time when I send her into the trailer, she self-loads amazing. It's exactly what I was looking for. She's confident, she's just cruising right on in, she's being responsive. And as far as sending her out of the trailer as well, she does wonderful, she's confident yet again. So this is exactly what I was looking for. It was a really short session, it was 10 minutes. The first time I walked up to the trailer, she loaded in, and we only had to do a couple times to show her the right answer to get her sending in. And that's exactly how I like it. I really don't like to spend too much time working on trailer loading, so I like to get them to the point where they load right up when I first show it to them, which is exactly the point she was at. So overall, that was a great loading session, and I really enjoyed it.